Guys, I tried League of Legends. No, not you. Get the fuck out. Let's try this again. I tried League of Legends. The anime. Shut your butthole! Look, I know it doesn't look like an anime or sound like an anime or even come from anime land, but if this Play-Doh-looking penguin can be counted as an anime, then, you know. Here, let me show you a magic trick. I'm going to make this show into an anime.
Okay,
now watch carefully.
Shut up, but I'm gonna help you with that. Ready? You see this look on my face? This will always...
But seriously though, despite the reputation League has gathered over the years for being... League, or whether or not you consider this an anime or an... animation, doesn't matter, because what matters is that Arcane is really freaking good. Like, holy fuck. The problem with many game-based anime adaptations is that too often the focus lies on appealing to current fans rather than outside audiences as a whole, which unfortunately leads to many shows disregarding quality over stuffing in as many Easter eggs or favorite characters as possible so the fans can be like, holy shit guys, it's my favorite warship, USS Laffy DD459. Look at her, just look at her. Isn't she just adorable? So when I first saw that League was getting an anime, I sarcastically told myself, well, this is gonna be good. But I couldn't be more wrong. And stupid, you stupid fucking motherfucking dumb. Arcane drops you into the midst of this bustling city. Every little detail from the bowls of slime to the wacky gadgets to the many different areas scattered throughout the show constantly extend a sense of depth to this world as it fully envelops you within its grasp. What I expected from this was another big company after a quick milking of the fans, but what I got was a genuinely well thought out piece of media brimming with passion. Arcane doesn't care whether or not you know anything about League's characters or world, because it's not here to fanservice you. It's here to completely immerse you into its narrative. Corruption, inequality, and discrimination deeply root themselves amongst the city's inhabitants, stemming from a long-running history of bloodshed and conflict that has the city divided in half. Each side has their own unique culture, way of life, and set of problems separate from the other. On one end, you have the prosperous upper city, an academic utopia dead set on advancing through trade, technology, and magic. While on the other end, you have the city's underbelly. Here, people barely scrape by, living conditions continuously deteriorate, and gangs, nightclubs, and drugs riddle the streets. You got two sides of the same coin, the same city, separated by a gap that only gets wider and wider as one side rapidly levels up while its less fortunate counterpart is left far behind in the shadows, bringing as a result a load of unsettled issues, countless disputes, and a once peaceful city now on the edge of civil war. This, unlike League, isn't a show about destroying towers or hating yourself destroying towers.
Piece of fucking poop garbage.
And it isn't set in the same kind of basic baby one-dimensional isekai world where the world building is usually like and like that, my work here is done. This is a multi-dimensional world rich in complexity with many of its own complicated problems. The meat of the story comes from the civilians of the divided city. You continuously bounce back and forth through multiple points of view, from scientists doing science stuff, to politicians doing political stuff, to hot badass girls doing hot badass girl stuff. And each other. Yeah, I made that last part up, but they're totally gonna fucking You follow various characters doing their own things, relatively independent from the rest, but eventually, every character, every revenge plot, every political struggle, and every pretty explosion start to come into contact. It's like a chain reaction as each development sets off another fuse, gradually complicating the situation until each moving part, each character story, and each plot point finally merge to form a not only coherent but also incredibly compelling narrative jam-packed full of action, emotion, and impact. The thing that truly amazed me about Arcane was undoubtedly its storytelling. It takes you on this ride with the characters. When shit goes down, it makes sure you know shit is going down and you go, oh fuck, oh shit. And when fights come along, you don't just see a bunch of characters beating the shit out of each other, but each punch thrown is embedded with backstory and meaning. In the show, you have these moments where after all the building and leading up to, the plot reaches the breaking point. Emotions run high, tension fills the air, and you are on the edge of your seat until finally it just hits you with this beautifully directed animation sequence, needless of a single word of dialogue for you to completely fall under its effect. And this is just a small part of what makes Arcane's storytelling so goddamn entertaining. It's not a captivating piece of writing because it has shocking or impactful moments in it. It's captivating because it's taken the proper time to carefully bring up solid foundations leading towards those defining moments. And this isn't just limited to the story either. It's also able to do the same for its wide cast of colorful characters. When taking on so many characters at once, it can be difficult to find the right balance between all of them, since you're not just making one great character, but several great characters. For example, one might get more characterization and overshadow the rest, or maybe not enough care has been put into this one and now it's an Oblivion NPC.
Stop right there, criminal scum!
However, not only has Arcane found that balance, but it is perfectly balanced. As all things should. Every character you follow has been equally and properly cared for. When the show jumped from one character's story to another, I wasn't like, what? Go back to that guy! Because I was almost equally invested in all of them, and more importantly, how they developed towards the end. The way Arcane developed its characters was to quite simply oppose the characters with who they were and what they stood for. Hey, these scientists want to make inventions to save lives? Uh-oh, looks like they went a little bit too fast and now people are dead because of them. Oh, this girl wants to be relied on and validated by the ones closest to her? Well, the more she desperately tries to be accepted, the more she ends up pushing everyone away, and now she's crazy. Most of the characters can be broken down by this simple concept, but just because it's not anything new or special doesn't mean that it can't be done extremely well. One of my personal favorite examples is Silco's slow evolution into the person he once hated. You're shown a cunning, manipulative man willing to sacrifice lives, a man who'd stop at nothing to achieve what he wants, a ruthless mob boss whom you should absolutely despise. Yet, he goes from that to a loving father who'd willingly lose everything he's worked his entire life for the sake of his daughter. Yes, it's a simple development, but it's one that hits you hard enough to push you to the edge of tears. And god damn it, he's not even the only one. The characters here are so solid that there's almost no clear distinction between who are the main characters and who are the side characters, because everyone here has been so carefully thought out, brought up, and nuanced enough to be, or at least have the potential to be, main roles. Not to say I didn't favor some characters over others, because I definitely did, but everyone felt compelling in their own right, like normal human beings with their own distinct personalities, developments, and flaws despite being fantastical characters. And when you combine this with everything else, what you have left is a really interesting world accompanied by really interesting characters that are capable of interacting in many really interesting situations, which is why Arcane is really interesting. You know what else is interesting? This production, man. Holy fuck. There's almost no amount of words that could surmise the sheer production quality this show brings to the table. Like, legitimately, I think the best way I can describe this production is... Everything from the way each frame looks hand-painted, to the unique animation style, to the music, to the action sequences, to the fights. My god, Riot went absolutely ham with this production. I mean, you just know they didn't cut any corners when almost every single frame is in constant motion, and also there's like 11 fucking insert songs that slap harder than League players do their keyboards. Everything displayed in this adaptation just radiates goodness, and not only has it been directed and presented brilliantly, but it's also done so with a passion. You know, looking at a production with a bar of quality this high, it was honestly surprising to see it uphold that bar throughout its entire runtime, and occasionally even rise past it. I know I sound like I'm just sucking Riot's dick here, but you know what? This production deserves a good dick sucking. It's truly earned every bit and piece of credit it can get, and I can't help but appreciate the time, effort, and dedication it took to create this work of art. Except considering how good it looks, I also don't want to even know how much time. Apparently, all of this started from a small passion project that was 6 years in the making. It was an ambitious endeavor for Riot to make a story of such scale and quality, but that ambition has fully paid off. What's been done here is an amazing achievement, not only as an adaptation of a game, but also as a show in general. And what's more is that this feels like it's just getting warmed up. Despite of how good Season 1 already is, by the end of it, it felt like it was just the prologue to something even more grand. There are still characters that haven't yet been explored, other countries out there besides Piltover, and a numerous amount of paths this story can go down and branch into. Arcane is already an incredible piece of storytelling that's able to sew together several compelling plotlines and characters, but it's also set itself up to reach even greater heights. If it manages to stay on this path, I believe it can become one of those quote-unquote big shows. Something like Game of Thrones or Attack on Titan. But please not Game of Thrones. A show that you grow with. A show that captures the gaze of the entire world as its story unfolds. If you're addicted to League of Legends, you are stupid. Cocaine is a healthier option. But if you're addicted to Arcane, you are not missing out. Because this first season could very well be the prologue to a legend in the making.